Hey there, good morning everybody. Good morning. I'm just taking my hair out of my braid here. So, I hope everybody has their coffee. I do. This morning's topic is all on the anti-ecstatic conspiracy. And it's like, okay, why am I going there at 6 a.m., right? The anti-ecstatic conspiracy. And it's interesting, but, Marianne Williamson has a quote that says, the mind goes crazy, but maybe I think either the mind goes crazy or the mind goes insane. The mind goes crazy when it has no heart or something like that. I totally messed that up, of course. It's 6 a.m. What do I expect? The mind goes insane without the guidance of the heart. There we go. The mind goes insane without the guidance of the heart. Get it right. And when you look out into the world that we have been born into and that we experience daily, what we see is a bunch of people that have lost their hearts and therefore lost their direction, lost their guidance, and they're operating from this mind frame. And we're all guilty of it. We're all guilty of operating from the mind frame place of the material world and getting caught up in this facade of our suffering, of our pain, of different manipulation things that we do, of our loneliness. Hey, good morning, Addison. Good morning, Steve. We get caught up in our loneliness. We get caught up in these things that we feel that we're living, that we're experiencing, like being alone, being sad, not having enough money, not any all this stuff, right? And then if you look at cultures around the world that are not as money focused as what our Western civilization is, what you find there is you find cultures that are supportive of life bliss, supportive of ecstasy, you could say, and try to bring it in to the everyday. And what does that mean? Because if I say bliss or ecstasy, typically the Western mind instantaneously goes to sex and to sexuality and asexual acts and intimacy and different things like that. We instantly focus in on that kind of stuff. So we focus in on physical pleasure. Ecstasy, bliss, is not just about sex, that's for sure. It's about laughter, it's about joy, it's about connection, it's about all that yummy, juicy, fantastic stuff that we all really truly want, that we're desiring and we need in our life, but we just don't have very much of. We have like a little bit of it, but we don't have very much of it. And I guess the reason why I use the word conspiracy, the anti-ecstatic conspiracy. What does that make you think? It probably makes you think like, okay, does she think that there's a conspiracy against our joy, against our pleasure, against us living life and really being able to take it all in? Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. There's definitely, most certainly, a conspiracy against the human population to just not truly step into themselves, to truly follow their path, to really live their hearts and their souls and let their light out. So I found this, I want to read this to you. This is from Claudio Najarro. Just as the ant has no awareness of its limited freedom, neither does roboticized humankind have an awareness of enslavement. But when one acquires the capacity to be more aware and to take responsibility for one's experiences in the here and now, 1,000 new things can happen. That puts it perfect. We really are like worker bees, and we're kept underneath this mask, this, lack of understanding. We're sold that we have our freedom, that we have our liberties, that we have this, we have that. And in truth, we really have nada. We don't really truly have freedom. And here's how you know that you don't have your freedom, is because you're probably not fully conscious of who you are. You're probably not fully okay with who you are. You probably wake up every morning with the instantaneous thought of the responsibilities that you need to tend to, the guilt that you have, the shame that you have, the duties and the things that you have been told that you have to take care of. And not saying that you shouldn't pay your car payment, you shouldn't pay your power, you shouldn't be a good citizen, that kind of stuff. That's not what I'm saying at all. There's things that we have in our life that we do enjoy, but how much of the stuff in your life is actually handcuffing you instead of allowing you to be free? Are you looking at it as though that stuff is more important than you opening up your heart, following your heart's desire, opening up that guidance system that your soul so desperately wants you to pay attention to? Year after year after year, we come into this world and in the beginning part of life where we're turned on, we're excited, we're little kids full of wonder, full of joy, full of the adventure and just this sense of the world. And as we age and we start to learn, get into school, get around society, we're told don't do this, don't do that, don't, sit up straight, act this way, make sure you say please and thank you, all these different things. Sure, there's good in all of that, but there's also control, and it can get very, very suffocating if you really think about it. And what you watch is you watch a child go from this connected state to self and to God. And when I say God, I'm meaning like that. We're connected through our core by that little piece of us that is the light of God within each of us, right? And that's the piece that we suffocate with all this stuff. And as a child ages and they get into, junior high and then high school, and then they graduate, and their senior year, their junior, senior years in high school, kids are really told, you gotta have your shit figured out, you gotta have this planned, blah, 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 you gotta be responsible, what's going on with you, why don't you have a plan, what college are you going to, what do you want to become, what do you want, da, 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 da. And it's all about Well, you're not going to be a good citizen if you don't have this plan and your life in order by the time you're 17, 18 years old. Their frontal lobe's not even developed. They don't even have full common sense or logic working for them, but they're supposed to plan out their entire life. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, that right there just makes you go, huh? If you really break it down and think about it. So then as we move into our 20s, we're a lost society. We're a lost society that thinks that success is about basically how big our student loan is, you know, what college we are going to, what car we're driving, where we live, and how many parties we can get to on the weekends. Of which none of that has a damn thing to do with success or with living or with bliss, and that is for sure. And what happens then is that as we age and we go through, we go from college to work and family and more debt, and we just keep going. And what it does is it just basically smothers our soul, and causes our soul to just get buried way down inside of us, where we can't even really consciously feel that pull anymore. And then something magical happens for a lot of people in their 40s and 50s. They wake up for some reason. They've had enough shit. They've been divorced. They lost their house. They lost their business. They lost their job. They're having health issues. Something jars their soul out of its slumber, and their heart starts to ache beyond a point that they can handle anymore, that they can tolerate, beyond a point that they can ignore. And in that moment they go and they say, I need to change. Something has to happen. Something needs to change. And then they go on a mission to figure their shit out. And when they start to figure their shit out, they go, why didn't I know this when I was 20? Why didn't I know this when I was 30? Why did it take me till I was 45? And the reality is just that is the conspiracy right there. The conspiracy is to enslave us into submission by years and years of teaching how to repress our souls so much that we can just go and live this life of responsibility and duty, good citizenship, because then we're really quite calm. We're really, not going to go and challenge the system. We're not going to challenge, society. We're not going to go and push up against these false boundaries that are out there. We're going to just keep buying in and staying caged and harnessed in this space. But a lot of people do get to a point in their 40s, 50s where they just kind of have a fuck it moment, and they go, fuck it, I'm going to, I see that's not what I want. I'm not happy. I'm not living. I'm not experiencing. And what it is that when we've experienced some of these hardships, the Band-Aid kind of gets ripped off, and then in our 40s and 50s, we have this sense of mortality kick in too, where we're like, holy shit, like we only have potentially this many years left. And that right there, when you get a time clock on your life, and you have that realization that there is just this life, and that you only have this many years potentially, then all of a sudden it makes you go, oh, I'm not living. I'm not living, I'm not happy. Why am I not happy? And you start asking the important questions of why am I not happy? Is that true? What do I really want? What do I desire? Now, those are the important questions. And you start to actually find this little drop of courage, which it doesn't even take that much. It really is, like Jesus said, a mustard seed, right? A mustard seed of faith, a mustard seed of courage. It's those little bits of courage and faith that shatter open the cage that we've contained our heart and soul in and kept pressed down to the most bottom depths of the sea, you could say. And it's in that space that we go, pah. There's only one problem with this awesome little tale of awakening that happens for a lot of people. The sad thing is it doesn't happen to even more people than it happens to. The majority of the world stays in the slumber for its entire life, and it doesn't wake up until days before its death or moments before its death. And that's when a lot of people actually wake and they lay on their bed in total regret, in fear, and disconnect. And the suffering and the sadness overtakes them completely because they realize that they had this life and it got wasted. It got wasted. It got wasted on duty. It got wasted on the facade of thinking that this stuff was important, that that success was about how big their house was and how much money they made and what car they drove and what school they went to, and got caught up on that materialistic look of the world. And they realized that they never stopped to enjoy life. They never stopped to really truly experience connection to their friends, their family, themselves, God. They never stopped to ask themselves, am I happy? What would make me happy? What do I desire? What do I really want to do? Who am I? Who am I? And even better yet, who do I have the potential to be? Who do I have the potential to be? That's where the majority of the world lands. Majority of the Western world lands there. In regret, in pain. It doesn't have to be that way. It most certainly doesn't have to be that way. The reason why there's a conspiracy is because every time somebody wakes up, and we're going to just call it waking up, okay? Every time somebody wakes up, they have this awareness that they really can be, do, or have anything, and that joy is the foundation of the soul and what they're supposed to be striving for, and that love really is the answer, and they want to tap into love. And I'm not talking all love. I'm talking about real, true, unconditional based love and surrender to that expression and because love is truly surrender to your heart's guidance, to your soul's guidance, to the will of God. That's what love really, really is. And it's not based on trying to manipulate, control anybody else, or even force yourself into some state of looking a certain way, acting a certain way. That's not love. That's all bullshit. But to really, really express the true version of yourself that you can be, and at least stepping onto that path and stepping toward it. And here's the thing you have to realize about your purpose and your soul. It is so much greater than anything that you will ever be able to fully express in this life. And it's that great because we're supposed to move toward it, and we're supposed to push ourselves and expand. And the adventure really is in the journey of the experience of discovery of self and discovery of heart, discovery of God on that journey and that movement forward towards that unconditional love state. But you're not going to get there through responsibility. You're not going to get there through duty. You're not going to get there through shame and guilt, through manipulation, through all of these belief structures that we think are ours that actually belong to Joe Blow back in 1500. I mean, we have really truly bought into everybody else's beliefs that have dropped down, and we've taken them on as for ourselves, and they're not even ours. And all those belief structures keep us shut down. Because here's the conspiracy aspect, and I know I started on this and I squirreled a little bit there. Sorry. 6 a.m. But the conspiracy aspect of this is that when somebody wakes up and discovers themselves and discovers that this is all bullshit, it's kind of like the shackles drop and the mask comes off and the game gets turned off, and they have this experience that life is so much more. And in that realization of life is so much more, they realize that they are so much more, and empowerment kicks in. And that is where you could truly say that a patriot is born. And it's a patriot of the soul, a patriot of finding self and stepping into that empowerment and moving forward. And that's where all the good shit happens. That's where the leaders of, if you look at leaders and visionaries of our world, of our past, the great people who went out there and wanted to make humongous changes for all of humanity, and really just wanted to set people free and create true freedom, true liberties, true empowerment. Every great visionary moved through their shit and had the shackles fall down and the mask come down and saw the truth and went, here's where my soul is. Here's where my heart is. This is my guidance system, and fuck the rest of that shit. And I'm moving forward and I'm speaking my truth. And they had a little bit of courage, and they went and made humongous changes for the world, opening up doorways for people, getting and doorways is not necessarily even the physical doorway, it's the mental mind set or way of looking at things. Just something you never know. I mean, it's just getting people to and self that awareness so that you can have this shift inside self and completely just go, wow, I really am a child of God. I really am fucking worthy. I don't have to do anything to be worthy. I was born worthy. I was born worthy. So why the fuck shouldn't I do this? Why shouldn't I go enjoy myself? Why shouldn't I connect more? Why shouldn't I love more? Why shouldn't I get more experience in this beautiful life that we have? Why shouldn't I love the world and experience the world and love this person and love my children and do this for myself? It really is a self-focused game. There is nothing else that matters but the self, because if you are not connected to yourself, if you're not connected to here, you're never going to connect to anything else out there. You're never going to be able to fully love at your full potential. You're never going to be able to fully live at your full potential. You can't do any of that. Bye-bye, baby. Son's leaving for school. You can't do any of that stuff without going to self first. And what have we been told? In society, in our conspiracy world, we have been told, don't pay attention to you. Don't be selfish. Don't be self-centered. That's bad. That's evil. Don't. do this, do that. Keep your focus on your, how you're appearing in life. Keep your focus on always giving and saying no to receiving. Keep your focus on that stuff. A selfish person, doesn't focuses just here, and that selfishness is really thought to be something that's evil. It's far from evil. It's far, far, far from evil. And one of the biggest lies that I encourage you to just put down right now is that right there, that selfishness is evil. Because if you don't figure out your shit and go internal and wake the fuck up, which is what being selfish is going to do for you, if you don't connect to self and you don't start loving yourself and appreciating yourself and letting go of all the false boundaries and the shame and the guilt, all of those shackles and ropes and tie downs, they're all a fucking illusion. They really, really are. None of them are there. It's just these programs, patterns. Think of yourself as a computer that has been then given a program to run, and it really is like oh my god, I just had The Matrix. I'm like, what the heck's the name of the movie? It really is that kind of concept that, that we're all running on this falseness, and this other reality is taking place outside of us, and we don't even see it because we're basically asleep and hooked up to a machine that's telling us this false reality, and we're just walking through our day with this false reality, and we don't even see what's really going on. And yet, so I don't believe that a bunch of machines are controlling us, but I do believe that we are definitely run by falsehoods that have been sold to us, and underneath the mask of so many different things out there. And I'm not going to go pegging on different things, but and it's definitely, if you look at it and you start to question your beliefs, and this is how you do it, you just quite literally question your beliefs, and you go, okay, is that true? Is that really mine? Do I really believe that? Is that really me at my core? And initially your ego is going to pop up and go, yes, because that means blah, 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 and it's going to step in there because it's the program running. So your initial question will get answered with a yes. Yes, that's true. Well, anytime you hear a yes, that's true coming from your sweet little self, you have to realize that that's probably your ego that's just trying to put a blindfold on you and get you to stop asking those questions. So rip the fucking blindfold off that your ego's trying to put on you and ask it again. Am I sure? Is that true? Am I sure? And then if you come back with yes, you're going to notice. And if you really get body aware, and this is where, again, selfishness has to come into play, because without selfishness, you're not body aware and you're completely ignoring your body's wisdom. So what you want to do is you want to just step into that space, and you need to start to get familiar with your physical body right here, okay? Because your physical body is always talking to you. It's always communicating. It has beautiful, beautiful wisdom. And what you might notice when you ask the second question of, you ask, is that true? And then you say, am I sure? You probably got a yes, and then you say, am I sure? And then you might have this real quick response of yes come to you. And what you're going to notice is that there's some angst, some anxiety, some like, oh my God, she's on to me. Like, So you're having like a little moment of freak out inside, and there's no freaking reason to have a moment of freak out if you're telling the truth. But the problem is that you're probably not telling the truth. So now your ego's going, oh shit, they're trying to wake up over here. They're trying to wake up. They're trying to connect. And you're going to feel this disturbance inside of you if you really tap into your physical body. And that's where you know that you've been feeding yourself a lie. And yes, unfortunately, you've been feeding yourself a lie. As a child, you didn't have a choice in the matter. You got these programs handed to you. As you became an adult, after about the age of like 25, 26, when your frontal lobe got fully developed and logic did set in, and and you basically really did have a fully developed mind at that point, that is where you now no longer have the ability to say, oh, but it's so-and-so's fault. No, it's nobody's fault after that point but your own to purchase those lies or to not. And, unfortunately it takes us another 15 years to wake the fuck up. But be one of those people that wake up, embrace yourself, figure out who you are, and no matter how old you are, where you're at in life, it doesn't matter about any of that stuff. The only thing that ultimately matters is that you rip the band-aid off of this conspiracy, this manipulation of the soul, and you pay attention to who you are, and you wake up. Because the more people that wake up and tap into their beauty, their light, their soul, their heart, the more love, the more joy, the more everything you're going to experience in life, and the more you're actually offering this world. And like I said, you have so much to offer. It is so much greater than what you can ever give in this lifetime. But it is, if you have any duty at all, it is the duty to wake up and to access those soul gifts and messages and spread that message, spread that love, spread that joy, and fully live to the best of your ability in this lifetime. If you're not doing that, you're not being a good human. You're not really stepping in. You're kind of denying that you're a child of God. You're denying your own power if you're not stepping into that, asking those questions, and really, really allowing yourself to experience you. So there's my little Thursday morning rant, conscious coffee rant this morning, all on stepping into your power and becoming a patriot of the soul. Becoming a patriot of the soul, which is very interesting. I have this flashback. I think I wrote an article eons ago called Patriot of the Soul. I have like a flashback of a photo shoot that my daughter did, which is interesting. So I'll go look that up and post that later today. Make sure that gets out there, because I know myself well enough that I was probably talking about this very topic 6-7 years ago when I wrote that article. So I'll go hunt that down for you guys. Let me see. Quick announcements. I'm trying to make a little bit of quick announcements, just because it seems that last night I had all these little flop ups with Facebook Lives, and it was very interesting and definitely very authentic relating for me on Facebook Live, because I had multiple issues. It was fun though. There was a reason for everything. Things perfect. But let me see. On the 19th of this month, Addison Bell and I are doing a local workshop on female pleasure, masturbation, because May is masturbation month. It is masturbation month. Isn't that exciting? So we're doing a workshop here in the Dallas area in Plano for ladies only, talking about the importance of female pleasure and love. And yes, we're talking about masturbation, but we're also talking about just flat out fucking loving ourselves and what that means, and getting that out there, because that right on this topic, as you can see, pretty on point here on that, is that it's important to love yourself. It's important to tap in and to get rid of those shields. So thank you, Miss Addison. And then the other thing, since you're there, I'm pretty sure you know where I'm going next, is that on June 6th we're not leaving the men out. We're doing a ladies workshop on the 19th of May in Plano, and then for our local guys, we have a single guys workshop that we're doing, and that is just for men. And Addison and I are going to be working with men on their divine masculine and how to be the man you need to be to call in the one into your life. So to really find that love and find your soulmate, you could say your goddess, your queen, whatever words you want to put there, but to really, stop just going after a quick booty call at your local pub or something and actually, you know, because a lot of guys do want to connect, and a lot of guys do want to have a woman in their life that is going to share honor back and forth, love back and forth, and really push them up and allow them to push her up as well. So we're going to help you go through some different things and understand women a little bit better and get familiar with what it does take and to call in that dynamic woman that you may not feel like you're really aligned to be able to call in right now. We're going to help you get those tips, tricks, and all that good stuff into your system so that you can call her in. That's the announcements I'm going to make for local workshops. Other stuff that's going on, there's always courses launching, different things going on, but I'm going to make a little plug because I'm kind of just getting that little announcement out to everybody. I'm going to be launching here in a very, very short period of time, probably the next couple days over the weekend. Probably I'm going to be announcing, thank you, Addison just posted a link for all the courses that I have out right now, and those are global courses. They're online, so I have everywhere from a blowjob course on there to couples. It's complicated doing that kind of work. Not Your Average Joe course, which is designed for men, and how to not just sexually not be your average Joe if you're 2 to 10 minute guy, but to also really learn how to connect to self and have that conscious awareness and that presence with your woman so that you can have that deep, full connection and take her to ultimate highs. And then I think what else is on there? Oh, the Feel Good Now course, which is more like my Conscious Coffees, focused in on abundance training and sharing and just creating that fuck yes lifestyle. But the other big announcement that I have is this: I'm doing bikini coaching for 2 weeks in July from multiple beaches and waterfalls in Maui. So you're going to get to tour the island with me, and I'm going to be doing coaching every single day. So it is going to be about 16 hours of live coaching that I'm going to be doing, all on abundance mindset and training. And of course, there's going to be some sexy stuff in there as well, because our sex plays such a significant role into our manifestation potential. So I'm going to be talking about all of that stuff and just sharing my beautiful Maui with you guys, and yeah, and just enjoying life and sharing that and hitting some really awesome key points. So I'm ecstatic to be able to do that for you guys, okay? So yeah, so I'm going to let you guys go. Everybody's waking up in my house. My brother's here, and I hear him talking on the phone. So I will make sure I post Patriot of the Soul later in just a moment. You guys go have a fucking amazing day and tap into you, because you deserve to be in touch with your heart. Love you guys. And remember, stop surviving and start living.